Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
One, two, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, here's Johnny at your door. 5, 6, do rude things with a crucifix. 7, 8, Michael Myers escaped again. 9, 10, here comes the alien. 11, 12, Jigsaw's on the shelves. 13, 14, here's our fact hunter Neil with 10 horror movie facts to make you scream.
Thank you very much, Pav. At number 1, The Exorcist was the first horror film to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar.
Hang on. I gotta move screens right.
Here's Johnny.
Robert Englund was not the first choice to play Freddy Krueger. That went to British actor David Warner.
Here's Johnny.
Psycho is the first American film to feature a toilet.
Here's Johnny.
Walnuts and dead chickens were used to create the gory noises heard in The Evil Dead.
Here's Johnny.
The Blair Witch actors all agreed to stay in character while filming, but if they needed a timeout or wanted to comment on something, they would use the code word taco. The iconic puppet from Saw, known as Billy, was so precious to filmmakers James Wan and Lee Wannell that they paid for it to have its own seat on the flight from Melbourne to Los Angeles.
Power of Christ compels you!
Paranormal Activity director and writer Oren Peli filmed the movie in his own home. Despite its scary reputation, Peli later had no issues selling his house.
Power of Christ compels you!
The corpses in the rainy Poltergeist pool scene were real skeletons.
Here's Johnny.
Jack Nicholson had worked as a volunteer firefighter, so when he tore down the bathroom door in The Shining, he decimated the prop door too easily and had to use a real door. And Friday the 13th villain, Jason, was originally to be named Josh.
Power of Christ compels you!
And there we are. There's the facts, Mum.
Wonderful. Welcome, everybody, to the Top 10 of Anything. And we are going to count down our top 10 horror films. That was Neil. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Pav. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And I'm joined by our pal, Mel. Hello, Mel.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello. Very well, thank you, Mel.
Now, you're a big horror fan, Mel, yeah?
I am a big horror show. Yes, I'm a big horror fan as well. Yeah,
So
I love a horror film.
A specific kind of horror film or all kinds?
No, not really. I'll pretty much watch anything.
Do you remember the first horror film you saw?
No, but I remember the first thing that scared me in a film, and that was Predator.
Oh.
My brothers made me watch it when I was a bit too young, and there was a tree outside my window, and I thought the Predator was in there.
Well, he could have been. You wouldn't have seen him.
Well, exactly. How would I know? That's the thing.
Exactly.
Because the thing is, we're of an age, not you, Mel, but we're of an age where things like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs we find really, really scary.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever find things like that scary? Or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was one of the ones that, like, the child.
I've never
child
seen
catcher?
that.
Oh,
I've never seen it, but I know the child catcher. Yeah, he's creepy. Especially nowadays with certain things in the news a lot. No, what scared me when I was a kid? Cocoon. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Which bit?
It's not a family film. When they take the skin off.
Okay.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he's looking through the keyhole at her undressing?
That's right.
Yeah. Terrifying.
I just had the scene of the swimming pool in my mind. I was thinking, old people getting disrobed. Maybe that was scary.
Yeah. Enough to put you off your dinner, for sure.
Don Amici with his top off is enough to scare anyone.
Yeah.
But that was...
They were all younger than they were supposed to be, weren't they? They made them up to look older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Obviously, 'cause then
Wilfred Brimley was like my age in that, which I
My
don't know whether that's.
condolences, Pat.
But it's like when you who was it who said it on a podcast I was listening to yesterday? Oh, they were looking at a picture of the traveling Wilburys. And they were going, my God, look at all these old people in this picture. And they were all like 40, 41.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like George Harrison and Jeff Lynne, like in their 40s at the time. It makes you think, oh my God, it makes you feel really old.
I think people used to look older than they were, though, didn't they?
Do you think?
Yeah, I do.
I kind of
Or
hope
we just have a
so.
youthful complexion.
Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah, that wasn't a very convincing. Yeah,
Not convincing at all.
not convincing at all. So Neil, you are a big horror fan, aren't you? You're
Love
a bit of
horror.
Would you call yourself a connoisseur of horror? Because you like all the artsy fartsy French like cinema and French.
It's not artsy fartsy, Pav. I introduce you to French horror.
It's
and
got
you're into
subtitles,
whole...
mate. It's artsy fartsy. It's got subtitles.
Look, I got you to watch Old Boy. You can watch anything now.
Yeah, but that's not a horror film, is it?
No, but it's subtitled. And there's a
Some
lot more
pretty
going on.
questionable bits in it, though. Isn't
Yeah,
there?
as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of films in my top 10 where I had those moments like before we start talking about movies, Mel and I chatted about this a little bit earlier on. Where are we standing on spoilers, Neil, in regards to talking about movies? Are we going spoiler free or are we going spoiler filled? Which way do you want to go? Because there will be movies on our lists, especially if you start talking about French horror that a lot of people may not have seen, but when we start talking about them, they might think, oh, I wouldn't mind watching that. So,
well, I'm going to try and avoid any major spoilers.
Right.
Major spoilers.
So we'll
But
agree that
we'll...
between ourselves now, no major spoilers, okay?
Feel free to tell me to shut up if I'm
No.
going to review anything.
I mean, some films you would suggest, and especially in the horror genre, that I think everybody probably has seen.
Yeah.
Most people,
So,
and if they haven't, why the bloody hell not?
So as long as I know it's no spoilers. Right.
No serious, major spoilers.
So the woman that's a man in the crying game is
Wrong genre.
That's all right. I'm safe then. Right. So let's start. And here we go. Mel, what's your number 10?
The Lost Boys.
Oh, I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah. Do you know, I forget that's even, no disrespect, I forget it's a horror film.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
It could be a comedy. But yeah, there's really gory moments. It's about vampires. But yeah, I loved it as
the creepiness.
When I was younger.
There is a lot of creepiness, isn't there?
There's a lot of creepiness. It's quite intense in places as well.
It's one of those movies that's got a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah.
And it's a very 80s movie.
Oh, it's so camp.
God, yeah. Great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to the greased up sax player. Always a highlight. Yeah. I can't even remember his name, but
he was in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome as well.
Was he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, he was part of Tina Turner's backing band.
Mm-hmm.
When she went out live during that. What are you laughing for?
Did he stay dressed and greased up like that the whole time?
That's how he would perform, yeah.
Well, she also had a giant baby, didn't she? In the band? No, he also played the sax. Because Mad Max fires an arrow into his saxophone. And it makes
that's Master Blaster, isn't it? You're thinking of?
No, it's not Master Blaster. There's a guy in like a giant diaper or a nappy. And I think he's got a saxophone. And Mad Max, it's one of many comedy moments in Beyond Thunderdome.
I remember that, but you sure it's not Mel Gibson now in an
yeah, it could be.
Nappy. But that's Joel Schumacher, wouldn't it? Directed that. Was it Joel Schumacher?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that at the cinema. There you go. It shows my age now.
I'm going to see if I could try and find the name of that.
The saxophonist.
Just Google greased up sax player.
Yeah, I was looking on IMDb. I reckon if I put in greased up sax player, his name will come, won't it? Right. So greased up.
I'd hate to think what videos pop up now.
Greased up saxophone player. Tim Capello. There you go. That's his name.
Oh wow!
First thing on Google. Yeah, the Lost Boys sax man is heading out on a US tour.
Wow! Grab your tickets now.
So he's still around. He's still around.
That's a good ticket.
Unfortunately, he looks like
Does he
Wilfred Brimley. I'm only joking. He's probably still saxed up and greased up and all muscly, but there you go.
But Kiefer Sutherland doesn't age, though, does he? He's another one that hasn't really aged that much, I don't think.
No, I
He
don't
sort
think
of
he.
kept his youthfulness.
No, I think he's filled into his face a lot more, though, don't you?
Yeah,
Is he not just turning into his dad?
Could be.
They look very alike.
They do look very alike, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah,
And
they've
listen,
But
always-
that's okay.
The other bad, one of the bad vamps was what's his name? Alex Winter.
Alex
Winter, yeah.
Bill and Ted.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I want to watch that again. I haven't
the
seen
two
it.
It's on
Corys.
Am I allowed to say that?
What's
you,
that?
you can say what?
It's on TV. It's on a
You can say where it is.
Can I? It's on iPlayer
Yeah.
at the moment. I
Oh
think.
no, don't say
Okay.
that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
wind
That's
me
good
up.
to know because
That's
I
fine.
haven't seen that in ages.
Yeah, I watched it a few weeks ago actually, but I watch it sort of every month or something.
That's a
Cry
great
Little
movie.
Sister. Cry Little Sister.
Yeah.
A really, really good song on it.
Great song. You ought to do that in your set, Pav.
I
I'd love
should.
to hear you go
Yeah.
that high.
No, I can't do it. No. Right, your number 10 then, Neil.
Switchblade Romance.
Oh, is this one of your first?
No, this is a French horror. Alexander Aja, who went on to direct such classics as Piranha 3D and Mirror with Keith Sutherland and things like that. But it was his French debut, and the girl in it was, I can't think what her name is. She's in Around the World in 80 Days and things like that. The French girl in that with Steve Coogan and Jackie Chan. But there's not many people in it. It's only like a 3 or 4 hander, but the tension that you will feel watching it. And I'm not going to go into the plot or anything because, well, it's a serial killer plot, but I'm not going to tell you too much of the plot because it will spoil, and you don't want this movie spoiled before you've seen it at all. But the tension in it and the jumps and the sheer anxiety you'll feel watching it is just immense. It's a great movie.
And
if
it's
you haven't
called
seen it,
Switchblade
fantastic.
Romance.
Yeah, or Le Huit de Tension. Something like
I was
that.
going to say, I can't find Switchblade Romance on
IMDb.
IMDb.
They probably got it under the French name. If you look under the director's name, it was his
High
breakthrough.
Tension.
Yeah.
High Tension.
Yeah, but in the UK, it was known as Switchblade Romance. Very, very, very good film. And
Okay.
yeah, well, it set his career off in Hollywood. There you go.
Well, yeah, the dizzying heights of Piranha 3D.
Wow, what fun that must have been to
I
make.
actually went to the cinema and saw that
Yeah, I
Piranha
bet you did,
3D.
you
I did.
perv.
There is a 3D penis.
There is.
It gets bitten off, and
It
then
does,
Oh
it floats
my
down.
it floats into the water.
And they
I
had
must check
Kelly,
that out.
Yeah.
Kelly Brooks in it, isn't she?
Kelly
And
Brooks in it.
They
Yeah,
did
there
the
was
weird
some-
3D naked swimming in it.
I
Yes.
remember that being advertised. They didn't advertise the penis though. Only
Always
Brooks.
advertise the penis. That's
Well,
what I
it wasn't
say.
a lot to see, was it? I hope they only chopped half of it off.
Okay, right. My number 10 is one that came in today because I changed it over a little bit. The Mist.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
good.
Great one.
And this is the one that I've only ever watched properly once because, no spoilers, but the ending is just devastating.
Yeah.
That it stops me from watching the movie again. I've watched.
Is it
No, I'll
really?
tell you, I've watched it twice. I've watched the original version and the black and white version.
Yeah.
But the ending, it's a dark movie anyway. It's
another Stephen King adaptation, isn't it?
yeah, it is. But it is. The ending just kicks you in the guts, lets you get up, and then kicks you in the balls. It's just terrible. It's not terrible. It's a great ending to a movie, but it is just.
It makes you feel terrible.
Oh my God. It's just devastating. Absolutely devastating. And I feel like, obviously, if you haven't seen it, watch it. But if you have seen it, you'll understand exactly what I mean, I'm sure.
Have
Mel,
you seen it, Mel?
I have seen it, yes.
and what did you think?
Not for a very long time. I remember enjoying it.
Enjoying
but
it. See, I can't say I
I
could.
don't. Oh, really?
No, I can't say
You
I
don't?
I enjoyed it. It was a good film, but
Yeah.
no.
Well, I enjoyed the experience.
Okay, that's
that-
fair enough.
Is that clearer?
Yeah, I understand that. It's the same as like saying that you enjoy
Yeah.
Schindler's List. It's not a movie that
exactly.
you can really enjoy, but it's the experience of going through it. I don't think I could say about the Mist that I enjoy it. Great performances,
A
Frank
lot of the guys
Darabont.
in The Walking Dead are in it, aren't
Well,
they?
it's Frank Darabont, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was.
his first movie, was it? But
It was his third, wasn't it? It came after The Green Mile, didn't
but
it?
I think it was the one just before he started doing Walking Dead, I think.
Yeah, it
That's
must
why
have
there's
been. No, because he did The Majestic, didn't he, with Jim Carrey?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he did.
And then he must have done The Mist. Yeah, The Mist. I think it complements being in black and white a lot better as well.
Yeah, just like Justice League. Anyway,
watch that in black and white.
Let's not go down that old rabbit hole. Number 9, then, Mel.
I went for The Descent.
Ooh, great movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie. And I think I watched it last year and I hadn't watched it for several years. And it's still, I think it holds up. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a horrible experience.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're with them. It's really claustrophobic to watch, I think.
Very.
And and like that's my worst nightmare, to be in a small space crawling through and being chased.
And
no,
again with a real downbeat ending. If you watch
really
the English version.
Oh, was it different?
In America, they cut
ending?
that completely off. When she comes when she comes out, I'm not going to say too much. That's where it ends.
That's a shame.
And it goes straight into the second movie, which is an abomination.
I haven't bothered.
Yeah, don't.
I think it's with a lot of these horror movies, obviously they try and wring out as many movies as they can. But I don't think it's very rare that a sequel to any horror film is better than the first original idea.
No.
I don't think I've got it. I had it as one of my honorable mentions, but like Saw. Great first movie. The premise is fantastic, and then they just wring every little bit of shit out of every single one they can.
I always thought the first 3 made a great trilogy because it all wrapped it up. It was when they carried on after that. Yeah. And now we got Spiral.
Yeah,
which is crisp to me.
Yeah. But I'm the same with Mel. I just her saying the name of the movie just sent shivers down my spine, and not because of the gruesome stuff in the movie. It's the goddamn potholing. It's being. I mean, I'm of a size where I get squished into things and in between things in normal days. But to actually choose to do that, I don't understand why anybody would choose to do that.
Yeah, I think you there's something wrong with you if you choose to do that for a hobby.
I agree. But then that movie hits you with sick straight away, doesn't it? Right from the car crash, boom, we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what a movie.
Yeah.
And I need to ask, without spoiling, are the dwellers, the underground people, real or not?
Oh, I never considered it.
There you go.
Well, I'm going to have to rewatch it.
Yeah.
But then again, it depends on
That's
which...
a good point, actually, because there's a lot of tension between the group, isn't there?
Yeah. And she's obviously...
She's not in a good place.
No, obviously being very affected of what happened at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a bombshell. Thanks for that.
But it make you watch it in a different way next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But isn't that then answered at the start of number 2?
Number 2 doesn't exist. It's a bit like Indiana Jones 4. It just doesn't exist.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana.
Sorry, stop keep saying it like that. Okay, Neil, you're number 9.
Dawn of the Dead, the original George A. Romero one. There you go. There's a sequel that's better than the first one. I would say the horror in it is fantastic. Great gore, Tom Savini, and also great sort of commentary on society and our consumerism. I just think it's a fantastic film, and you've got to see the director's cut as well, not the pathetic sliced up UK version that they released. I'm a huge fan. I like a good zombie film or a good zombie movie if it's done well. The problem is it's being overdone now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. The Walking Dead are a bit to blame for that.
I think you're just desensitized to it all now, aren't you? We watched, as we record this, we watched the first episode of the last season of Walking Dead last night, and people's heads are being sliced in half, and you don't think anything of it now. Whereas
in that Dawn of the Dead when the zombie got his head cut off with the rotor blades off the helicopter was a huge moment in cinema. You were like, Jesus, how did they do that?
Yeah. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
No, I've seen. Isn't Dawn of the Dead the one that Zack Snyder did the remake of?
Yeah, made them quick zombies. I mean, nobody likes a quick zombie. That irritates me.
Right. Okay. God, you're in a really happy mood tonight, Neil, aren't you?
No, it is. We're talking horror, aren't we? We've got to be glad.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, quick zombies are not a thing a zombie can do, can they? They've got to have rigor mortis set in. They're dead. It would have all happened. And yet they're sprinting after you. I don't, it works when it's like 28 days later and they're infected.
Yeah,
I'm happy
that was a
with
virus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't die.
But zombies, just by the definition of a zombie, can't be quick.
Okay, but they're not real, Neil. Just
Well,
sort of-
you tell that to my Haitian auntie.
Okay, I will. Next time I see her, I will say something. Right, my number 9 is a movie that I only saw about a month or so ago. Hereditary. Because I hadn't seen it before, and I didn't want to see it because there was somebody told me about a specific scene in it.
Oh no.
And then I watched it, and it doesn't take a lot. It takes a lot for me to get freaked out with horror films, because they're mainly all the same tropes. They're all jump shocks, and it's the music telling you how to feel on a lot of bad horror films. But I was genuinely just like unsettled watching that movie, right down to the little kid and not really knowing what was going on, and even when the movie finished, still not quite knowing what was going on. But it did definitely moved me out of my comfort groove, and I was a little bit unsettled after watching that.
It's definitely a movie worth multiple viewings because you miss loads that's going on behind in the corners,
and you can't watch it with a phone on the go or with the lights on full. You've got to, because there's so much in the darkness, isn't there?
Yeah,
so you need to be able to see all of that.
Absolutely. That was in my top 10, and that actually came out for something else.
Interesting.
I just couldn't justify not having the one in there.
Yeah,
so it's a great movie. And then his follow-up, Midsummer.
I still haven't seen that yet. No.
Oh, you're in for another treat now. It's a great movie.
Have you
I
seen
rewatched that on Saturday, actually.
Oh, did you?
I saw it the first time, and I won't spoil it for anybody, but there were certain bits that I thought were a little bit predictable, but I enjoyed it much more the second time. And it's a joy to watch as well. It looks amazing. It does.
And Florence Pugh, how good is she in it?
Yeah, very good.
She's really good. But it's nearly 3 hours long, though, pal.
Is it?
Right.
Yeah.
What, you don't think I have the time, the attention span?
No, I'm just warning you. You might come back to us and say, for Christ's sake, you two, I spent 3 hours watching it. Oh, beef.
What? Well, I will give it a go because it's back on Netflix now, so I will definitely give that a go.
I watched Hereditary in my house alone, and I went to bed. I had to walk upstairs with my back to the wall.
Really?
Oh.
And it's not very often that happens.
With all the lights on.
Yeah. I had to jump into bed and then turn the lights off. And it was, I shouldn't have watched it at home alone, but there we go.
No. I think it is a fantastic movie. I mean, he's a great director so far. He's showing his worth.
You shouldn't watch Home Alone either.
No,
because,
also terrifying.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, what a sadistic little...
Yeah.
Those wet bandits as well.
Poor guys.
Yeah. Right then, Mel, you're number 8.
It's Hereditary.
Oh!
Hey!
So, yeah.
What not to love? It is a great movie. It really is. And what a debut horror movie, eh? That's because I don't know. I think horror must be one of the hardest things to write, and they say it is, isn't it? Because there's a fine line between horror and comedy, and to get it right that time, it's fantastic. And the casting of the actors, that little girl's face is creepy as, isn't it? I know she looks like Kevin Bridges, but she is creepy.
She is creepy, yeah. And
and that noise as
Toni
well.
Collette is amazing.
Yeah.
The facial. I mean, I don't even know what she does to get all those different. I don't know what the word is. She's almost like the Jim Carrey of horror.
Yeah.
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 How she wasn't Oscar nominated for that,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It
God
looked
only
like it would
knows.
be an exhausting role to play as well, emotionally draining, but good film.
And I can remember having a massive crush on her when she was in Muriel's Wedding.
Yeah, that's a good film.
You know, it's a great, really fun film.
She's adorable in it.
Yeah, and it's weird how she's now veered into just sort of like doing really horrific, sort of unsettling movies, The Sixth Sense and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's
The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, all right. Number 8, Neil.
The Omen, the original Gregory Peck. What a movie. Terrified me when I was younger. The bit mainly with Billy Whitelaw as the nanny always frightened the hell out of me when she attacked and then stood on the and then the maid, well, this is a sort of spoiler, hanging herself in front of the party was just a terrifying vision.
It's all for you, Damien.
It is all for you, Damien. And then obviously let down with really disappointing sequels, I think. The second one being really boring, and then the third one not making a lot of sense. But it's a great movie, isn't it? Great soundtrack. Patrick Troughton. Oh, what performance he was in the graveyard there.
Yeah.
Just loads of iconic. David Warner, who we mentioned before, who was nearly Freddy Krueger. You know, the glass in coming off and that beheading. what a shocker that was. So what a great movie. A 90-minute perfect horror film. It doesn't drag on. There's no dull moments at all. And a surprise to see Gregory Peck in sort of playing that sort of role in that sort of movie.
I'm not going to say too much because it's a little bit further up in my countdown. But a fan, Mel?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but it's been a very long time since I saw it. For me, it was always just I have to be careful what I say here. There was somebody's child that I knew that was often referred to as Damien.
Oh, right.
So yeah. I knew what that meant from an early age.
It definitely became a name that was used in pop culture. I mean, even Only Fools and Horses.
They did, didn't they?
That was what Del Boy's son was called was Damien, and they thought that it was.
And they used that piece of music. What's his name? Carl Orff or whatever his name.
Something
was.
like that. Yeah, that's the thing that really gave me the willies as a kid.
Yeah,
was that music? Wasn't that the same music they used for Old Spice?
Apparently so. A different part. Yeah. Yeah, Old Spice. That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Right, my number 8 is Cabin in the Woods. The Joss Whedon movie. For me, it's one of those movies that, right, now I'll say about my top 10. I've got none of the real classic, what you call classic horror movies. Your Friday the 13th, Halloween, anything like that, because I just don't find them. And I know that this will probably shock Neil, but even The Exorcist isn't in my top 10. Just because I don't find them scary. So I've gone for movies that I find either good fun or things that left me unsettled as a child or as a person that watched it. And Cabin in the Woods is nothing but good fun. It's Joss Whedon at the top of his form, with some really, really good cast members. You've got Chris Hemsworth before he was really fat. I think he became Thor as this movie was coming out, I think. So he blew up as this movie came out. But it's just absolutely batshit crazy. There's blood everywhere after a certain amount of time. It's an old riff on the old Cabin in the Woods, but then there's a massive story behind it, which I thought was just really, really clever, really, really well made. And like I say, the last sort of half an hour is just fucking batshit crazy. It's just like, just different kinds of monsters. No, it's not spoilers, but it all goes mad. So I would recommend that. But Cabin in the Woods, without a shadow of a doubt.
He wrote it, didn't he? It was Drew Goddard that directed it. Is that right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew that he was. You could see that it had like Joss Whedon's DNA all over it.
It's funny as well.
I couldn't resist that. Sorry.
But yeah, it's a great movie. I actually forgotten about it until you reminded me. Now I want to watch it again.
Yeah, it's a good one. Mel?
Yeah, I like that film.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that is it in either of your top 10s?
No, but I'd say that my list has got a similar ilk to yours.
Right.
It's not there's a lot that's not in there.
Right. Well, yeah. Right then, Mel, what's your number 7?
The Fly.
Hey, which version?
Jeff Goldblum
Okay,
as
yes.
Brundlefly.
Oh, fantastic
Yes.
movie.
It's so gross. It's disgusting. But really compelling.
Yeah, we're talking of penises. He keeps his in his cupboard, in his bathroom cabinet, doesn't he?
Well,
He
after
does.
he uses it a lot.
Yeah.
Who knew flies were so randy?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Gina Davis.
The vomiting, the digestion scene is just
Yeah. When he pulls his
fingernails.
pulls his fingernail off and that, and
Popping the things. Oh yes.
Yeah. It's tailor made for Jeff Goldblum, isn't it? Because
and you use the term batshit crazy. The film is batshit crazy, but it is Cronenberg, isn't it? So
yeah,
there you go. What do you expect?
Body horror.
But then with a heartbreaking ending.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but it makes you feel sorry for this human-sized fly.
That film has a moment that makes me wince every time I see it, and it's the arm wrestling scene.
Oh yeah.
It makes me really. I almost struggle to watch it.
I thought it was when you saw the size of Jeff Goldblum's penis in the. I thought maybe you was just a bit worried about that. No.
In what way?
Well, no, maybe jealousy or. He's not saying anything.
It always reminded me. Do you remember years ago in joke shops, you used to get a wind-up cock, didn't you? You'd wind it up and he'd bounce all over your desk or whatever. That's what that reminded me of in the cabinet. I thought
maybe that's what they use.
Yeah, it might wind it up and you get this thing jumping all over. You remember them, Pav?
I can't remember them. I'll have to Amazon it.
You can't remember the wind-up penis thing?
That's another Google.
Your search history.
Yes. Go on then, Neil. What's your number 7?
Evil Dead 2. I absolutely love this movie. I love all three. I've got a soft spot for the first one, but that was serious. And then obviously Evil Dead 2 is a remake of the first one with almost like the Three Stooges shoved straight in the middle of it. I think Bruce Campbell's never been better physical comedian. Sam Raimi was ingenious with the way he filmed that and the way he did the tracking shots and everything. And it's got a great mix of comedy and horror. What's not to love? And again, 89-minute running time. Perfect. You a fan of the Evil Deads?
Yeah, go on, Mel.
But I there's one scene that I can't remember which one it's in, and it's got to do with an Achilles heel.
That'll be the first with the pencil.
That's the first. Yes.
Yeah, that's the first one.
That's the first one. Is it? That's what comes to mind when I think of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And I think they made the sound by putting a pencil in an apple.
Yeah. Obviously, it was banned for years, wasn't it? Because of the infamous tree rape scene in the first one. Which, it's just bizarre.
That is pretty weird.
But the second one is just, that whole bit when he's just there with his girlfriend and she comes back to life and that dance and she's rolling her head down her arms, either way. And it's a movie I go back to a lot and I do watch a lot of times. I've watched that movie.
What did you think of the remake?
Not a lot. Unnecessary. The gore was all wrong for me. It was unnecessarily gory rather than being gory for fun, and it just had no tension. It didn't make me scared. It didn't make me anything. The only bit I liked was the very end when Ash winks at the camera, groovy. And that's the only bit of that movie I liked. It was pants, to be honest.
I've just remembered a horror film that's not on my list, but maybe should be.
But
it might be on your list. Should I say?
Okay, go on then.
Speaking of remakes, the Carrie remake was shit.
It was.
The original is great, but it's not on my list.
Okay, right, okay. I was going to say, would you put it in your list?
Maybe it is a good film.
It's a fantastic movie.
I've not
Her
seen that one
mother
for
is-
years.
oh,
and
really?
years. No,
I was allowed to watch that far too young because it affected
Yeah.
me for ages. I couldn't even pick the video case up in the video store for years
Really?
after seeing it. Yeah, it really affected me. I must have been far too young.
I can't remember how old I was, but I always thought it'd be really cool to have telekinetic powers.
I thought you were going to say pig's blood all over you.
No, that bit not so much.
And that uncomfortable scene at the beginning
Yeah,
in the shower, it really
Yeah.
is an uncomfortable scene. Isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
It's
A great
sad
movie.
though. I felt
Yeah.
a lot of sadness for Carrie. Even towards the end, I was like, yeah, fine, go ahead.
Mm. Well, having a mother like that, eh?
Yeah, having a mother
Yeah.
like that, and people at school are jerks. Like, carry on. Oh,
And a
didn't happen.
Carry
young-
on, very good.
That was accidental.
Very good.
But it's young John Travolta in that one, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Right then, my number 7, I have to thank Neil for this one because it was one that he kept saying to me, you need to see this film, you need to see this film. I did, and I was never the same after, is Martyrs. It is one of those movies, it's like 2 movies rolled into one. It starts off as a certain kind of movie and then becomes another batshit crazy kind of movie where you finish watching it and it sort of leaves you with more questions than answers. I think there's one thing when you got somebody saying to you, you should watch this, it tends to put you off watching
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
because people keep going on at you saying, oh, you've got to watch this is great. And I just thought, no, I'm going to just shut Neil up for fuck's sake because he's doing my head in. And then I can remember when I saw him the next time, I went, "Oh my god, that movie!" and it's even now that the one specific bit in it, which is very ambiguous, is the bit that you sort of go, "Oh my!" It's just that bit that just leaves you with this this itch you can't scratch. I tried to watch the US remake and lasted about, I think, 15-20 minutes, and then just and gave up on it.
Truly awful. The remake.
But yeah, that's my number 7. I don't know what.
I've not seen it.
Have you not seen it?
I would, but it sounds good.
Yeah, I would thoroughly recommend it because it is. You start off thinking it's one kind of movie, and you think, right, okay, and you settle in for that kind of movie, and then about halfway through, it becomes something that you've got no idea what's going on. And it is for a French film where you've got to read subtitles. It's masterful.
What have you got? What's wrong with you?
Well,
What's
because
wrong with subtitles?
you got to work too hard. You got to read and watch at the same time. So you sort of like you're watching stuff and you're missing stuff on the screen.
Right.
I can't do 2 things at once now.
I nearly said something.
Yeah, no.
Move on.
Well, let's move on. Mel, you're number 6.
Event Horizon.
Oh, what a movie!
Yeah, it's just nuts, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just nuts. I did watch it as an adult. I remember I had a housemate at uni that said it was the scariest film he'd ever seen, and that put me off because I thought, nah, it's not going to be that scary. But it is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
And I think what's scary is that all of the visions of hell that they see are bespoke. And whatever it is preying on your fears. So yeah, you probably wouldn't tell everybody what it would be, but oh my god, I would not want to see it.
No.
No. I remember just watching that in the cinema. It just opened and we were in there. It's quite a packed house in Swindon, and it got to the bit, following in the air ducts. That's all I'll say. And when the jump happens or whatever it was that happened, no spoilers, the woman behind us went, "I've had enough of this shit. I'm off." I always remember at the top of her voice, and stormed out, obviously terrified. Oh dear.
Visually, there's a lot going on though as well, isn't there? There's a lot to see, but also a lot not to see. When they first dock with the ship, and I think, do they look at what the cameras that were on, and you just hear screaming, and it's all very dark, and you sort of see bits, and you're thinking, what the hell is going on? But then at the end, when you actually see the bits, they're just as bad.
Yeah.
So it's not that all is withheld. It's like some of it is, some of it's not. But whatever it is bloody horrible.
They need to get the director's cut out, I think.
Yeah.
They really do.
I don't know if I've seen the director's cut, actually.
I don't think anybody has, have they? I don't think they ever released it, did they, pal?
I'm not sure. Well, I can remember same thing as like Mark Kermode used to go on about it all the time, about what a great movie it is. And then I can remember, I think it was play.com where I used to buy all my DVDs and my Blu-rays.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and they had it for like £7. It was like a special edition for £7. So I bought it, thought I'm gonna watch it. It's only £7. If I don't like it, then it don't really matter. Throwing my money around like nothing, £7 for a DVD. And I like you, Mel, I thought it was absolutely crazy. And the fact that there was like that one of the scenes, there was a naked Theresa May, not the conservative ex-prime minister, but the page 3.
Well, that's what comes to mind, isn't it? Let's be honest.
She was there doing her funny dance.
Yeah.
Doing all
Dancing queen.
Yeah. And it was just a weird film that just had so many unsettling images in it.
Yeah.
But and I
flayed people. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, great cast, an amazing cast.
Yeah.
But it was just there was so many bits of it that was like it reminded me a little bit of Hellraiser. With the visions, and I thought, it is one of those really unsettling but very cool looking movies. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
What's your number 6 then, Neil?
Martyrs. Which I think is an absolute masterclass in horror. Like Pav said, it basically nearly goes through every genre of horror you can think of at the beginning, slasher to demon to monster to jumps and everything like that. And then halfway through it totally changes, and it doesn't change for the worse. Depends how you look at it, really, but it's just it is a masterclass in how to do a movie, and I don't think it's going to be a film that's going to be achieved again. That type of movie, you need to see it. Now. And I always have a ritual when I like to watch a horror film. I always watch them on my own most of the time. I turn the lights out. I have one lamp on and my cup of tea or whatever, and sit down and watch it at night. And Martyrs is the first film that I actually got up and put the big light on.
Wow.
I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable watching that the first time. But yeah, it stays with you forever. After you've seen it, you will never forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. Adding to my watch list.
Yeah. I'll apologize now if it disturbs too much. It is quite out there.
Yeah. I've never been the same since, Mel. I'll just tell you that. I've just never.
God, what were you like before?
Exactly. Right, my number 6 is It. The remake with Skarsgård,
Peter.
Brian.
What's his name?
Brian.
Peter.
It's not Peter, is it? No, that's the singer, Peter Skarsgård.
It's not Peter or Stellan. It's the other one.
Yeah.
No, it can't be Alex.
Is it Bill?
Bill.
Yeah.
There you are. There's
Bill
loads of them.
Skarsgård. The second one was okay. The first one, I just thought they did it so well. The second one always puts me off because of the de-aging CG they did on the kids, because they'd obviously become at that weird age where they're just about to become teenagers in real life, and they tried to make them look like younger kids, and it just really took me out of the movie.
Yeah, I must admit that puts me off most films if there's too much CGI.
Yeah, but the actual Pennywise is.
Yeah, he was good.
It's really, really scary.
The way he dribbled.
Yeah, and just the way he would change from being the sort of clown to then having like a mouthful of teeth or all that. It's just very, very unsettling.
So you've never seen the second one, then?
I've not seen the second one.
So you've not seen it, but you have seen it, pal.
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
We went to the cinema to see it. Okay. It's good. It is good. I like the way that it just runs on. Well, it's like 24 years later or 26 years later, or whatever it is. And the actual casting of the kids as adults was really good. But when they kind of did flashbacks and that, it just didn't work for me, because the CGI was too much. You could tell they were trying to de-age kids, which is weird just in its own right, you know.
I thought the kids were great in the first one, though.
Yeah, they were fantastic in the first one.
Yeah, it was
really,
kind
really
of like
good.
Stranger Things.
Yeah,
that kind of vibe, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's a good movie. It's a great movie.
I watched that on a plane.
What, it?
Yeah.
Was it like a cut version or?
I don't think it was. No.
Jeez.
I don't think they
it
do
was a
now, do they,
long-haul
on
flight.
planes?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'd like to
do
see.
anymore.
That's the only version I've seen. So if I've missed something, I'd like to see it.
And was that?
But it was scary on the plane.
I was going to say that was the first time you've seen it.
Yeah.
Jesus
I don't know why
Christ.
I thought it was a good idea. It was on overnight long haul flights, so all the lights were out, and I was sat between two strangers, and I thought,
oh my God.
yeah, let's watch it. So yeah, it's the first time I watched it.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't. You got nowhere to go.
Yeah, I know. In hindsight, I think I made an error, but I think I was a bit jet lagged, making bad decisions.
Very bad decisions. Okay, now it's number 5, a bad decision, Mel. Oh, that's a real radio link. That was.
No, it's not a bad decision, but I feel like I feel a bit intimidated talking about it because I think it's your baby. It's Alien.
Ooh, you may be surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in the camp that Alien is horror rather than sci-fi thriller then?
Absolutely scared the crap out of me, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't see how it's not a horror.
No.
The first one?
Yeah.
It's just a full-on horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But it's like we've said before, the weird thing is like you only see the alien for like 4 minutes in the whole movie. And it's just like Jaws in the fact that it's less is more. It's more what you don't see than what you do see, which I think is what a lot of horror films don't do. They try and get you, it's loads of blood, it's stuff like that. I'm with you in the fact that it's a great movie. But when did you first see that?
I can't even remember the first time I saw it. It was like there. It was just there. But I did always like Aliens as well. I hope that's okay with both of you.
No, absolutely perfect. But to me, Aliens is more of an action movie than a horror.
Yeah, and it's a comedy as well.
Yeah.
Like Bill Paxton just steals the show as he does in everything.
Game over, man.
Yeah, he's got so many good lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, and John Hurt just looks, a young John Hurt especially, just looks so vulnerable in everything that he is in. I just felt so sad for him in Alien. He's
just enjoying his breakfast after having that face hugger.
I know, and
I will say
I think he played that bit really well.
Yeah, I will say from a previous episode that the young lady that we have with us tonight is the one that gave me all that information about that about that essay about how it's the feminist and going up alleyways and going up corridors or it's phallic symbols and
never see it again in the same light.
Yeah.
Which was and I don't know if anybody I don't know if anybody has read that essay. It is a good read. I will say it's a good read. It will make you watch Alien in a different way, I think.
Yeah.
Is it in a way that you'd want to watch it? I mean, that's the problem.
I don't know.
Well, does it take away from where you first see it? That's, you got to be careful.
Yeah. Maybe watch it first, then read the essay. Don't read the essay, then watch it.
No, I think you haven't seen it for a while. Like I haven't seen Alien properly for a while, but after reading that essay, it made me watch it again. And like looking at is it LV-27 or whatever the ship and that is, it makes you look at that in a completely different way. And you look at the face hugger in a different way, and there's this, and it's interesting to be able to watch a film that I've watched. I don't know, I've probably watched Alien 20 times at least. To be able to watch it with a little bit of a different slant on it does make it interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, Neil, you're number 5.
The Shining, Jack Nicholson.
I thought that was for you.
Well, I suppose it's did well to get him a top 10 because I struggled to actually get a top 10. There were so many of the ins and outs, but that's a classic, isn't it? It's got every trope. It's psychological. I like the fact that it's a slow build, and I'm a big fan of the slow build. I don't like these sort of quiet, bang horror films. They're just ghost train rides and they're boring. But The Shining really delves in, doesn't it? It gets you thinking. And what a great ghost story. Just a fantastic ghost story. and Room 237, the documentary that accompanies it, makes it a very interesting movie. I know Stephen King didn't like Kubrick's Shining, did he, at all? Said he missed the points, and then went off to make his own version on the TV screen. It was an absolute shit show. It was awful.
Has either of you seen Doctor Sleep?
No, not yet. Have you?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Apparently, it does fit quite well.
Yeah, they've got a very good. I don't think it's spoilers. Ewan McGregor goes back to the Overlook Hotel, goes back to the bar, and his dad is behind the bar.
Right.
And I was watching it, and I was going, I recognize that guy doing like a Jack Nicholson impersonation, and it was only Elliot from E.T.
Oh, was it?
It was Henry Thomas. Yeah.
Wow.
Doing a really good. He wasn't doing an impersonation of Jack Nicholson. He was doing an impersonation of
what's his name? Jack Torrance.
Jack Torrance, yeah. And it was really good.
Yeah.
But I thought I recognized that face. I just recognized that face. And then I looked on the credits, and yeah, it was Henry Thomas.
But it's got one of the creepiest images ever from movies, is those twin girls stood in the hallway. I just think it's so creepy. I mean, I don't particularly find anything like that scary. You know, I walk around these ghost trains and everything like that. They don't particularly bother me. But if I was to walk around the corner and those two were stood there, I think I'd run a fucking mile. They just creep me out.
Buckets of blood as well. Buckets of blood.
Yeah. And that, just even from the beginning bit, when you're following the car all through the woods with that daunting music all the way, just fills you with dread. You know what's coming. You know you're about to embark on the ghost journey of all ghost journeys. So brilliant. Yeah.
And the carpets are great.
They are.
Yeah.
And I always wanted his trike.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, on paper, triking round an old empty hotel sounds great fun, doesn't it? But
it does.
Would not catch me doing that.
It's ruined now by those twins.
Yeah.
Nothing comes good of being on a trike. Look at The Omen as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how Damien's mum dies, is him on a little trike.
He pushes her off, doesn't he?
The little
spoiler.
So, yeah, spoiler.
Oh, well, we don't say what he pushes her off of.
No, well, it's off of a balcony and she falls.
It's the classic fishbowl.
Indeed. Okay, my number 5 is Blair Witch Project, the original one. This was the first film I saw when I had my new 5.1 surround sound back in the day. And I was constantly looking outside, opening my window because I thought someone was shouting down the street. Going in and someone going, wait, that scene where... is it Josh was the one guy? He went missing.
Goes missing, yeah.
And you can hear him shouting. And of course, with the surround sound, it was coming from behind me. And I thought, who the fuck is that shouting in the street? I'd open my living room window and looking right. And I thought, oh no, it's that. And then and no spoilers, but that final scene is another one of those ones that just stays with you because it's you know.
I was so lucky with that movie. I was in America right in the hype of it. So they published the documentary out on the whatever network on TV. Everybody thought it was real. I'd went to go and see it and noticed where I was staying in Memphis. My friend noticed that they were doing a Q&A, the two directors, Sanchez and whatever his name was. So I actually went to the Q&A and saw all about the filming of that. Absolute marketing genius. Was a brilliant.
The first sort of movie, first $40,000, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, only been beaten by Paranormal Activity now.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It was highly influenced by Cannibal Holocaust. So if anybody's watched that movie, it's a found footage movie, one of the originals. It's a great movie, but watch the cut version, not the uncut version, because never deal with that again.
Oh, right.
Too much animal cruelty for me.
And a fan, Mel, of the Blair Witch?
Yeah, I think I haven't watched it for years. But I'd be interested to watch it again now.
It would be interesting to see whether it might be a bit boring now because you've had
maybe we've been over.
But I like the fact they didn't silly jump scares, did they? It was just like the brief touch of the fabric of the tent, and you saw a little bit of that, the crunches or the screams off camera miles away. You didn't really see a lot, do you? And like you said, that final image is just burnt, etched into your skull.
It's probably been 20 years since I saw it, and I can still see it.
Yeah. Right,
Holds up well.
Your number 4 then, Mel.
It's Rosemary's Baby.
Oh,
Yeah. Just
Farah.
why is that one?
Famous haircut. Why do I like it? How can I talk about it without spoilers? The neighbors are batshit crazy. And you always wonder about your own, don't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think that's in us, isn't it? To think, what are they up to over the road? Well, not very good things, according to Rosemary's Baby. But yeah, it's a great story. It looks great. The outfits are great. I'm not sure what year it was made, actually.
I think it's about 68, 69, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah. Visually, it looks great.
Mm.
She was a bit of a trendsetter, wasn't she, with that haircut? But the outfits are amazing.
1968.
And her husband, I mean, piece of work.
It's a hard one to talk about without spoiling
it is a really hard
too much,
one,
actually.
exactly. Yeah, it's really hard. But watch it if you've not seen it.
Yeah, and stick with it because it takes a while to get going,
Do you think?
doesn't it?
I think I was hooked from the beginning, actually.
Yeah, some people are. Yeah. I can see why some people find it quite dull at the beginning. Because not a lot really happens, does it? Too much at the beginning.
No, I think that's what it is with a lot of those classic horror movies. Like I say, they take a while to get going. The Exorcist is another one, takes a while to get going, I feel. But I think I was the same. I enjoyed, again, can you say it about horror films? You enjoyed it, but it just definitely felt to me like it was a movie of its time.
Yeah.
I think if they remade it today, like they did with The Omen, they remade
it. Shouldn't remake things.
It's one of those ones just to leave alone because it's it wouldn't have the same hit as it did.
No. I guess also the sort of expectations of a marriage in the 60s probably wouldn't translate to modern day. I hope.
No.
Yeah. And
also,
it's all about a family unit and mothering, isn't it? And that's quite a common theme in horror films.
Yeah. I think the one thing about remaking horror films, like old horror films for today, is just the thing of the mobile phone.
Yeah, just phone somebody.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you could Google maybe, demonic possession or something.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
A YouTube video on how to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. Right, Neil, you're number 4.
Classic Halloween, John Carpenter. I know you're not a big fan. I don't particularly find it scary anymore. I did when I was younger, but it's iconic. And for what he did.
Question then, what is scary about a man's shoulder? Because that is literally all you see in that movie. You see Michael Myers' shoulder looking at a house.
It's the dread, isn't it, of what's coming. You do see him step out every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then.
But... Yeah, and he comes out. But then less is more, isn't it? It's the same principle. He's building the tension.
Not in that one,
until you get to the end when he gate crashes the party over the road, then you see a lot of him, don't you? But it's an iconic movie, and it's a great classic horror film. You've got your psychopath that seems to be unknowingly indestructible. You've got Donald Pleasance that always makes a great horror movie character, just for the sheer thing of it. Again, I'm going to go on the length of it, 90 minutes long, perfect. The score is iconic. John Carpenter's score, and Michael Myers must go down in history as probably the best, to me, serial killer horror villain out there, because Jason is just stupid, isn't he?
Okay.
Or Josh.
If you say so.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same sort of power with the name Josh.
Josh.
I have to admit, I think the Halloween 2018 version, which was nearly in my top 10, is so much better. I know it's supposed to be, it's a follow-on.
What, the new one with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah.
Well, straight away, you got a flaw. They allow a podcaster to walk straight into a mental institution and hand the guy his own fucking mask back. When is that ever going to be allowed?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not real, Neil. I have to keep saying it. It's not.
Yeah, but you've got to have an element of realism in there, and that threw me straight out. It's like, people rave about a movie called Eden Lake. I don't know whether people have seen this horror film.
No.
Michael Fassbender and that, and they go camping and everything, get terrorized by these young kids. Straight away, the problem there is you just ring the fucking police and tell them you got a load of scrotes down at the thing and let them deal with it. None of this stupid prance. Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, Neil, such a happy man. Right, my number 4 is Evil Dead 2.
Great movie.
Basically the same reasons that you said, Neil. I love the comedy, the mixture of comedy and horror. Bruce Campbell is just fantastic. I love the third one as well. Yeah. Army of Darkness is just really, really good. And I've never watched I watched the first episode or 2 episodes of the TV series, and it was supposed to be really, really good. And I've
brilliant.
I need to watch it. I don't know whether
it's absolutely brilliant.
It must be on one of the streaming sites.
It's on Netflix, and all I'll say is it's gory as I've never seen anything so gory in my life.
Yeah. But we've said enough about Evil Dead 2, so we should go on to number 3. Mel, what's your number 3?
The Shining.
Oh,
yeah, quite high up, but just love it. I think we watch it every Halloween.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like we watch it regularly.
Is that one of your go-to horror films?
Yeah. I just love Jack Nicholson in it. I think he's mental.
Right.
His portrayal of him is he just plays insanity so well.
It's the eyebrows.
It's the eyebrows, probably.
Eyebrows. There's a really good video on YouTube of him, the scene where he's smashing through the door. It's him preparing to do it.
Yeah, I think I've seen that actually.
It's really I'm fascinated with videos where it's behind the camera, showing them actually filming stuff, and just to see his like process where he's like jogging on the spot and then sort of swinging
hyping
the axe around, just
yeah,
getting himself all ready for it and stuff.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. Okay, I was surprised. I thought that might have been one of your two's number 1. I have to admit.
Yeah, did you? Okay,
I did. Yeah, I did, because it's not even in my top 10. The Shining.
Really?
No, it's not. No. So Neil, you're number 3.
The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Body horror, again, done perfectly well. Great special effects that still hold up today. The unknown, you never know who's infected, who's not, who's going to turn it around. And right from the outset with the dog transforming and on, just hooks you in. And again, a perfect length of the movie. They really need to go back to these 90-minute movies, don't they?
Is it only 90 minutes?
Yeah, it's only about 90 to 100 minutes long.
I don't think I even noticed how long it was.
No, it keeps you in grip, doesn't it? Enthralled all the way through. And I don't think Kurt Russell's been better in any of John Carpenter's movies than that. And the whole cast are fantastic, even though some people nowadays are saying it should have more female in it.
I think originally it was supposed to have a female member, wasn't it?
I'm not entirely sure, but
there is an episode of the X-Files that pays homage to it. Have you seen that?
No,
I don't think I have.
I think it's called Ice, and I think during lockdown we stumbled across the X-Files on one of the viewing platforms and thought, yeah, go on then. And we just happened to watch that episode and we were like, aha. And it's almost exactly the plot, but obviously with an X-Files spin on things. But it's a very good episode of the X-Files, actually.
What series? Which season?
I think it's season 1 of the X-Files.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I think it's called Ice, if I remember correctly. Oh, it's worth a watch.
Did you ever watch the prequel they did?
Yeah, not good.
Dear.
To The Thing.
Yeah.
It's called The Thing. Surprisingly.
No.
But I wouldn't bother. It almost taints the original.
Mary Elizabeth
saving grace is the only saving grace is they had the final shot is the dog running through the ice at the beginning of the first, the original movie. They tied it up nicely there, but the rest of it, what a load.
So is it
dishwater.
From the Norwegian camp perspective?
I think it is, isn't it? It's the first where you see, the spaceship that they find and things like that. It's from that.
Sorry, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, not Mary.
That's it.
And I'll just pick up on something, Neil. The Thing is 1 hour 49 minutes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so not a tight one.
Not a tight one.
Another 20 minutes.
Still under 2 minutes.
Still under 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yes.
2 hours.
Still under 2 minutes. Right, my number 3 is Shaun of the Dead.
Yay!
I don't think there's really much you can say about it. It's packed full of pop culture references, and so much so that a lot of the references in there now have become pop culture references on their own. You know,
very quotable.
I got wood specifically. That's something from the movie. I'm not stating that as a fact now.
Well, you say
Good to know.
Yeah. Although you can't see with the camera there.
Welcome to the podcast, Mel.
I've experienced this at work. It's fine. I hope MD is listening. So, see you at the tribunal.
Yeah, see you at the tribunal. It's just a great movie, but it's also got some real shocks and some real blood and some real gore in it as well. That I think just works really well with the comedy. So that's my number 3. Mel, your number 2
is The Lighthouse.
Oh,
I haven't seen this yet.
Have you not seen it? Oh my god,
it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm desperate to see it.
2 men in a lighthouse. That's basically all I can say.
I've heard all sorts of wonderful things about it.
Yeah,
I hope you've not heard any spoilers. I went to see it in the cinema. And when I came out, I remember going to see Pav the next day, and I said, I felt like I'd been slapped in the face when I came out of the cinema. It's just so intense. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't follow all of the normal sort of rules of a horror film, but I think it does. And last
does it have
night
jump scares?
No, not really.
No.
It's just, it's one of those unsettling, claustrophobic, madass of a movie. Like Willem Dafoe is mesmerizing in it. And to be fair, what's the other guy's name? Robert Pattinson is really good as well. I'm not a massive fan of his.
No, I sort of ruled him out after Twilight, but actually he's done a lot of good films since then. So
but I didn't even think of that.
I'd completely forgotten about it. I mean, I haven't seen it myself, but I'm gonna have to hunt that little badger down.
You need to, because I think
really good.
Yeah, you're a bit of a movie snob, Neil, aren't you? I think you would appreciate it because it's very, the way that it's shot is very. It's almost like you could take a still of any scene in it, and it would be a beautiful photograph.
Right.
Yeah. So last night I went on IMDb because I was like, maybe it's not a horror. Maybe I should just sort of reintroduce it to myself. And every single still that you see on there looks like a horror film. Yeah. So
it looks like an old-fashioned like Universal monster movie.
Oh, brilliant.
Shot in black and white, but it's got some real unsettling moments in it. It really has. Yeah, I would thoroughly recommend that.
High on my list to watch.
Right then, Neil, you're number 2.
An American Werewolf in London. We talk about comedy horrors. Well, there's the perfect mixture. Scare you shitless at one moment, make you laugh out loud the next. I still have an issue with the dream sequences. They still freak me out a little bit, but I still plow through them. That's from watching it too young. Again, it's a perfect movie, isn't it? From start to finish, every beat of that movie is perfect to me. And there's not, if you haven't seen it, then what the fuck's wrong with you? Get out there and watch it. It's probably one of the greatest films. I think it would be in one of my probably in my top 10 movies of all time.
Wow.
I just think it's a perfect movie.
Have you seen it, Mel?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Many times. Although I think I tried to track it down within the last year and I couldn't find any legal way of watching it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere, but I would like to watch it again.
There's a good Blu-ray. I've got the book on Blu-ray. There's a good Blu-ray copy of it.
And John Landis on top of
he couldn't get a miss, could he? Really?
I mean, he had an amazing run of movies, John Landis.
We started with the what was it? Animal House, yeah. Blues Brothers,
yeah. Trading Places. Are we going to go through Coming to America?
yeah.
We'll just go through his IMDb.
Yeah,
that's a good one, Neil. My number 2 is The Omen.
Yeah.
Even now, hearing that music still unsettles me. And I mentioned this to Mel, the fact that when I was little, something like the Bible seemed to me to be like an historical document. It wasn't the fact that it was just a story written by people. So you could go to, and I'd always go to the book of Revelations, just have a look at it, because it'd tell you about the end of the world. And the fact that they would like say, the movie starts, I think, with the quote from Revelations, the mark of the beast and stuff. I thought, oh my God, it must be real because it's in the Bible. It's got to be real. And then obviously as you get older, you realize that, it's not real. But just that whole movie and the premise of it, that the Antichrist is now on Earth. And I thought that the sequels were pretty good. Number 4 was shit. Because I read the book for number 4, which was really good. And I'm not, as you know, Neil, I'm not a book reader. But I was like, the whole concept of it, I thought was just fascinating. So that, and Gregory Peck, I was listening to Gilbert Godfrey's podcast today where they had a review or a replay of the Richard Donner episode. Right. And he was talking about how Gregory Peck was going through some real tough shit at the time when they got him for the movie. Like, I think his son had died and he just needed to work. And so that's how they got him. Because Richard Donner directed it, obviously. Went to him and said, come and do this movie, and he sort of loved the screenplay and loved the script and just chucked himself straight into it. It's just such a great movie. Again, I haven't seen it for a while. I need to really sort of rewatch that movie.
It hasn't dated too badly, I'll put it there. No. I watched it probably last year in the first lockdown. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it again. Okay, so that's our 10-2. So Mel, do you want to just give us your countdown from number 10 to number 2?
Yeah, so number 10, The Lost Boys. Number 9, The Descent. Number 8, Hereditary. Number 7, The Fly. Number 6, Event Horizon. Number 5, Alien. Number 4, Rosemary's Baby. Number 3, The Shining, or The Shinning, if you're a Simpsons fan. Number 2, The Lighthouse.
Okay, Neil, you're 10-2?
Absolutely. So number 10, Switchblade Romance, or High Tension, whichever you can find it under. Number 9, Dawn of the Dead. Number 8, The Omen. Number 7, Evil Dead 2. Number 6, Martyrs. Remember to put that on your list, Mel. Number 5, The Shining. Number 4, Halloween. Number 3, The Thing. And number 2, An American Werewolf in London.
Okay, and mine is number 10, The Mist, 9, Hereditary, 8, Cabin in the Woods, 7, Martyrs, 6, It, 5, Blair Witch Project, 4, Evil Dead 2, 3, Shaun of the Dead, and 2, The Omen. So, Mel, what is your number 1 horror film?
The Thing.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of my faves.
And would that be in your top 10 of all-time movies?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I just love it. I find it so compelling. If it's on telly and halfway through, I'll just watch the rest of it.
That's a sign.
I don't even. Yeah, it's just. I love Kurt Russell in it. He's wearing a cowboy hat in the Arctic. As if that's going to keep him warm. It's absolutely mental. But yeah, I just love it. And the paranoia. That scene when they're all testing the blood.
Oh yeah.
And I love the ending as well. I don't think they could have done that any better.
No, a great one. I say it's a great movie. I say it's a great one. It's not even in my top 10. So I've missed so many great movies in my top 10. Neil, what's your number 1?
You probably can guess this, Pav.
Let me think. Go on. The Exorcist.
Yeah. It's. I think it's. I've said about American Werewolf in London being a perfect movie. To me, The Exorcist is a perfect movie. It starts with dread, all that bit in Iraq with digging up the demon with Merrin. If you do watch it again now, it really does play on your senses then, and then it just a slow build into that perfect scene where you really will them not to go back into the bedroom and just leave her to her own devices. I think it's a great movie, great ending. Just a complete package, and it's nice to see an adaptation of a novel that really is close to the novel as well. Obviously there's bits they couldn't include, and I prefer the normal cut over the director's cut. I'm not a big fan of the spider walk; it looks too fake.
Yeah.
But I recommend anybody that is delving into horror or wants to see horror needs to watch The Exorcist. It's a masterclass.
Yeah,
it's a psychological, and people nowadays, psychological horror doesn't seem to be a thing. People find your Conjurings, these bloody fairground films, scary, and I don't get it. I really don't get it.
No, I just don't bother with those at all.
No. You want something that you're going to walk out the cinema and you're still thinking about a week later. That's a good horror film.
See, I can remember my dad used to be a projectionist at the local cinema, which I've been there for years now, and he would always tell me stories about when they played The Exorcist, and there was St. John's ambulance outside, priests outside saying, "Don't go and watch this movie; it'll corrupt your soul." So I'd never watched it, and then me and my wife, we sat down and we watched it, and at the end of it, we both literally at the same time said, "Well, is that it? Is that why? What is?" And I know you got different sensibilities from. What year was that made?
72, isn't it?
72,
73, yeah.
To like modern day, but I don't know what the fuss is all about. I just really couldn't see it. The same as when we watched Halloween, Friday the 13th, all of those classic horror films. I just sat there and went, I don't understand what all the fuss is about. I just didn't. Anyway, my number one, it's been mentioned before. For me, it is again in the list of perfect movies is American Werewolf in London. It's got everything. It's got comedy. It's got Jenny Agutter's boobs. It's got horror. Jenny Agutter's boobs.
David Norton's penis.
David Norton's penis.
Do you see that?
Just when he's running with the balloons.
I'll have to watch it again then.
Yeah, and it's also got Jenny Agutter's boobs in it, which when you're a 12-year-old, you get it where you can. And there wasn't things like just a phone that you could look at anything.
Jenny Agutter's lovely, anyway. Isn't she
is lovely.
She was beautiful.
And had you seen her in the railway truck? Was that before? Yeah, she was
young, wasn't she?
But I also saw her in Logan's
She wasn't that
Run,
young in it though, was she? Oh yeah, sure, Logan's Run.
where you saw Jenny Agutter's boobs. She was
Tell me you've seen Walkabout.
She does get them out quite a bit, doesn't she?
She did. Tell me you've seen Walkabout, pal.
I haven't seen Walkabout actually.
Yeah, I a long time ago. I'm just disappointed that Call the Midwife, she doesn't get her boobs out in that. I mean,
if ever there was an opportunity,
exactly,
it would be then.
I mean, she's already dressed as a nun, for goodness sake. I mean, she's halfway there. I mean, God, what a disappointment.
I thought you were going to say, it's a shame there's not a movie on Jenny Agutter's boobs.
I mean, there will be. If someone doesn't make it, I will.
Yeah, if you made a compilation, it might be an hour and a half.
On a complete loop.
It probably would.
Go around and around.
So have a think, guys, about your honourable mentions. I'll just run through a few that we had sent to us. At this one, Samantha said, so looking forward to the top 10 horror movies. My number one, A Nightmare on Elm Street. My sister's friend actually sat next to Robert Englund on a flight once. I wonder if they watched it while they were on the flight. So adding to Freddy, Children of the Corn, Pet Sematary, Fright Night, Day of the Dead, The Fog, Candyman, and The Exorcist. Stu Grant said Halloween, Saw, Evil Dead 2, Devil's Rejects, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That very closely went close to my top 10. Day of the Dead, Killer Clowns from Space.
That's not a horror.
Friday
Who's
the
in that?
13th.
Is that Jeff?
Was
no,
that
it's
Jeff
not.
Goldblum?
No, he was in Earth Girls.
No, Earth Girls Are Easy.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. Sorry.
For a second there, I thought it said Pingu, but it's not. It's Ringu.
Oh, well, actually, there is a Pingu version of The Thing. Have you heard it? It's called Thingu.
Oh, I'm gonna have to see that.
I'll have to watch that on YouTube. Yeah.
Amanda said Halloween. It's a classic, and the new It parts 1 and 2 don't normally like remakes, but they are just. And then what would you call that? The
Chef's Kiss. Let's do Chef's
Kiss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura said Poltergeist. Miranda said Silence of the Lambs scared the shit out of me. Sean, The Thing and Alien. Jane, Nightmare on Elm Street. Love a bit of Freddy. Kim, I love all the Nightmare on Elm Street films. # Freddy rules. Ashley, Sinister, The Thing and Poltergeist, the original. Anna said 28 Days Later. One scene was filmed at Waverley Abbey, which is near me.
Oh, well done.
Ray said The Orphanage or Martyrs, maybe.
The Orphanage is a great movie as well.
Ray added, I mean the 2018 French Martyrs, by the way. Nicole said Goosebumps, and Jeff said Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I had nightmares for years.
I'm with that. I was terrified of the child catcher.
Yeah, there's another one for you to watch, Mel.
Yeah, is it a musical though?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I'm out.
No, you're not. Oh, but you're going to do our top 10 musicals, aren't you?
Absolutely not.
Just a quick question, Mel. What did you think of The Exorcist? Do you like The Exorcist? I know
I
Pav.
did. Yeah, I did like The Exorcist. I do remember thinking it's not as bad as everyone said, but by that point, there was so much hype. Kind of spoils it, doesn't it? But yeah, I know what you mean about the crab walk. I think I saw that version because I was like, it's not not great. But yeah, I watched that, and then there's the old Leslie Nielsen spoof.
Repossessed.
Repossessed.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I think I saw more than the actual film. So
Because that actually had Linda Blair in it, didn't it?
It did.
The girl,
Actually, that wasn't that bad. You know what?
no, it was pretty funny.
All through this, I was going to start off by saying my number 10 was Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
then,
great.
And then I
That's
realised that
amazing.
I'd missed the chance to do that joke, so I was going to do it for number 1 and forgot it then as well. Dracula Dead and Loving It. But there you go.
Yeah, that's good.
So what other honourable mentions have you guys got?
Well, I would have had Hereditary, The Descent, Ring, the Japanese version of The Ring, or The Grudge. There's a film called Frontiers, which is a French film. That's an honourable mention. That's very good. So things like that for me would have been in there.
Mel?
Friday and Nightmare on Elm Street as well, of course. The
Yeah,
original.
yeah.
The original is fantastic.
I've got Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, great movie.
That's one of there was a film earlier, I can't remember which one it was. You said it starts off like something else, halfway through it changes.
Martyrs. Yeah.
Okay. Same with Bone Tomahawk. I
Yeah.
thought I was watching a Western.
Yeah.
And then that
is another
that scene.
fucked up movie.
Yeah,
That is
but
brutal,
great
isn't
film.
it?
Crazy. Yeah.
I
Great
think I've watched
movie.
it twice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I liked it. And Kurt Russell again.
You can't
Great
beat
Tash.
Kurt Russell. Oh,
Great Tash.
He's got great hair and a great.
He's just lovely, isn't he?
He's fantastic. I love Kurt
Yeah.
Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else have we got? The Witches. I think that's a horror film.
Oh, what the original with Angelica Houston?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is as creepy as, isn't it? When they
Creepy.
change.
Creepy and yet adorable because of the mouse puppets. Lovely. But then the witches are terrifying.
Well, that was Nick Rogue, wasn't it? Who did Don't Look Back. I'm sure it's the same director,
I don't know.
which is another freaky horror film, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The girl in the little red dress.
Yes.
in the
So
coat.
I think I only watched that last year or maybe the year before. And there's a cemetery opposite my house. And one morning I was cycling to work through the cemetery and somebody had left a child's red coat on the railings. And I actually jumped out of my skin, had to do a double take, and I cycled off very quickly because it wasn't long since I'd seen that. But yeah, I think I would like to watch that again.
Yeah, well,
And
Donald
go
Sutherland, wasn't it?
And go to Venice and
yeah,
maybe watch
on
it
the
in
canals.
Venice or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mm.
Pav remembers it for one scene only.
Well, didn't they?
Was
When
it
they
boobs?
supposed to have really had sex?
Allegedly, but no,
Allegedly.
they both come out and said they didn't.
Oh, cool.
It
They're
was
going to
just-
say that, aren't they?
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
And there was
rumours.
Jenny Agutter in the background just going,
with her boobs.
we love you, Jenny. Come and be a guest on our podcast. Top 10 boobs.
Your top 10 flashes.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's our top 10s, ladies and gentlemen. Neil, would you like to tell everybody all the gubbins that they need to know about?
Absolutely. So you can find us on all the social media at the Top 10 Pods. That's TOPTEN Pods. You can email us with anything at top10pods@hotmail.com. And please do come and help support the podcast at patreon.com/top10pods, where you can get rewards such as our episodes super early, bonus episodes, behind the scenes videos, and even a chance to be a guest on your own episodes. Woohoo! Check out all our links via Linktree. You can find the link in the show notes. And please come and subscribe and leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, or subscribe and follow on Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wow, that was amazing. Almost like you'd read it from a piece of paper. That's amazing.
Who knows? Magical.
So that's it. Have you had fun, Mel?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
It's only taken months of bullying.
You've got to stop doing it, Mel. I said that
Yeah.
you'd be on sooner or later. You haven't got
I
to keep
know.
having a go at me, have you?
Fair
you know?
enough. Yeah.
But now you have, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time because you're going to
Apparently,
you're going to do
yeah.
disaster movies. So
Do it all
I need to
again.
I need to watch a lot of films in those 2 weeks. Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would say try and watch Martyrs before, and then
Oh,
you can
yeah.
at least
We'll
that
do a little
one, and then
recap.
and we could do a little recap on the disaster movies
Okay.
one. So thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you very much, Pam.
Thank you very much, Mel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, everybody, and let's start the countdown.
10, 9.